Hello and welcome to my live stream of the game U-Boat. I'm going to set up a career here and start from the beginning of the game, which starts pretty much with the invasion of Poland from Germany during World War II on September 1st of 1939, and proceed as far as you can go. At the end of the game, I hear there is a surrender to the Allies if you make it that far. I've played the game for a few years now and have never seemed to get much past the early part of 1942 because of game development, and this is now the full release, so I had it in early access, so of course there's a lot going on there. Why I had to keep starting over, and I'm kind of curious how far I can go here, so I'll go until either I surrender or until I get sunk. The idea with this is it's going to be episodic in nature, 1 hour videos, sequencing through my career as long as there's no reason to stop. I will use time compression where applicable, but at times I will not use time compression because I'm just trying to have a game experience. So welcome and thank you for visiting. Let's see if I can't get this, make sure I've got everything set first. To look at my modifications. It's first thing on my list. Credited to other people who have made modifications to this game. This author, Redshift, Sounds of War. Essentially, they went through and just modified the sounds of weaponry to make it more realistic to actual sounds that were experienced. This author is not listed, and this is an authentic goods mod. Basically what this does is change the icons that are in our supply cabinet and in the storage room that's back in the galley on the U-boat to look like authentic goods from the time period. So it's an aesthetic mod. Sauerbraten, again, no author here listed. I did not make this. It's essentially just applying a traditional German roast. So it's another one of those immersion mods. Realistic torpedo load times done by Kerberos. I like this mod. It slows down the loading time of the torpedo to more realistic values experienced actual in-game or in real life. So it modifies the gameplay to be more realistic. Torpedo overhaul. No author listed on this one. Essentially what this does is now it reflects, electric torpedoes now reflect historical performance, and also increases the chances of a dud torpedo when they aren't properly maintained or in general to reflect historical norms. Realistic pump capacity, author GJC, creator. Adjust the pump volume to reflect the historic values versus what the game has in its original state of 3.6 cubic meters per minute. This one's actually 1.3. No spoilers. I love this one. I do not know how to pronounce this author. This is a great mod. I'm very much into immersion. I don't like to have random notes from people yelling that we've been detected when we're underwater, and there has been no way to know that unless the sonar from a destroyer or a corvette starts pinging. I like to keep those things to my out of my knowledge, so I have to react as a commander really would. Larger crew limit, well, no author listed here. I just like to add a few more crew members possible to my boat to reflect the historical accuracy. I'll start the game with a Type 2A, I believe Type 2A U-boat. I know the Type 7 or Type 9, one of those two, used to have 48 crew members on it during the actual patrol, which, you look at how small these things are, it's quite crazy to think that. But they did it. Dark Raven, pretty well known in the modding community for this game, and does a number of mods. Basically adjust the periscope sight to realistic values because the field of view is not accurately reflected in the scope. Seeking physics Sinking Physics Overhaul is a good mod. I like using it because ships in the game, without the modification, in my opinion, sink too quick and allows you to move on, whereas a lot of times a ship would get torpedoed and it could be 45 minutes before it sinks or longer. Realistic lighting mode. This is a mod created by SQ Paradox. Essentially, what this does is it takes the game mode that has typical your white light, your red light, and your blue lighting, and modifies it to be a white light, a reduced brightness white light, and then I'm providing an emergency light mode that is red for the inside of the boat. No auto alarm. Again, same author, do not know how to pronounce. I like this one. It doesn't, as soon as a boat loads, let's say a Corvette or a freighter loads, sometimes the game would trigger an alarm for you, and you would know that you have to chase down that boat and sink it, when in reality you wouldn't know until you saw the flag whether it was something you actually needed to try to sink or whether it was a neutral ship. So I like using this mod to add to immersion. SQ Paradox also did realistic ammo capacity for the guns, and I appreciate that mod, so I used it. Historical graphics. This was a mod to overhaul the dials and the gauges in the game and the illumination thereof, done by Finesse and Emergent Pusher. World War Radio is one I've tested recently and used by Long Labs. This is a really good mod for immersion. It has everything from radio specific to the time frame that it was in play, as in hits in 1939 would be still played on the radio, potentially in 1941 and 42, but with reduced frequency. It also includes special broadcasts, special broadcasts with specials like Christmas specials and news reports for different countries and stations you listen to. Also includes a reduction in factor for the fact that radio only travels so far based on the transmitter power, and they did a good job of trying to reflect that. You can't be picking up radio from Moscow if you're sitting on off the east coast of North Carolina, for instance. Real Navigation by Mata is a nice one. This takes the boat off of the screen. When you look at the map and you don't know exactly where you are, you must use a sextant and determine your position manually, which I find is a really good level of immersion to the game. Device Maintenance by Alligator and SQ Paradox requires you to maintain certain devices as they break over time. No voice spoilers, again, no author listed, essentially just to get rid of spoilers. No icons. I forget. Oh yeah, that's right. There's various icons throughout the boat that kind of ruin the immersion, but they cue you to use the periscope or know where the periscope is at, and other stations and departments on the boat. But I've played this a long time and it just kind of ruins the immersion, so I use this mod to turn off those ones that are unnecessary. Kriegstagebuch. I'm not sure how to say that. Author is listed here. This is a nice one. It's a little immersive mod that basically allows you to write your own journal using which exists in the original game. This adds automatic recording for torpedoes and ships sunk, weather conditions, whatnot. I thought it was great. This is the by Finesse Astro mod. It's a nice one to basically it adds the moon phase to the clock in the map, and also adds some information that you would usually have based on where you are, latitude, with the particularly the time the sun rises and sun sets, and shows adds a barometer. Device energy management is a nice one. It breaks down the additional parts of the U-boat for more realism. Instead of just having a couple things related to discipline, it adds in energy usage that is related to the, instead of just the gyro compass, it adds in a heater, energy usage, radio rudders, distilled water generator, and such. And so it adds a little more immersion to the game. And that is the total of the mods that I have. So let's hit play. No warning here because a lot of these say outdated. It's just outdated scripting. I tested these, they do work. Just some housekeeping here. Right. Version of the game, full release, patch, and the date that the patch was released is down here in the corner for those who need to know that information. Typical start screen. Type 2A, you can select different boats through here. Some of these have different starting times. 1941. Different boats, the Type 7C being the most advanced one in the game right now, with a mod coming for the Type 9. Strike that, the Type 7C41. Also level of difficulty and location, flotilla, and port. Starting port or home port are also changed with each one of these in general. So I usually start with this one. Just not that I need an easy difficulty, but I like the boat and it allows you to go through the whole progression of technology. I go hardcore because I know I do everything manually. I know how to do all this. Played it many times. Expert crew management. Realism 100%. Darker nights. Disabling the periscope stabilization. And yeah, so there's that. It's cutting off me again. Don't know why that's doing that, but we'll figure that out. All right. This might be a hit to me right here. Very large convoys. Major performance impact. I prefer to see more ships in the convoys. So I think this is pretty good. I think I could run on enormous, but just for not creating challenges for people with glitches, I'm going to run that one. Nothing there.
Auf die Stationen. Anlauf beginnt.
Just try to determine the correct look. Right. Oh, and the trousers with belt, I like to run with braces. Play with names. I'll run with that. Nice little intro video.
Viel Glück bei Ihrem nächsten Einsatz, Herr Kommandant. Kommen Sie und Ihre Mannschaft gesund zurück. Ich bin Ihr Verbindungsoffizier, um die Befehle vom BDU weiterzuleiten. Wie kann ich Ihnen behilflich sein? Dies sind aktuelle Einsatzbefehle vom BDU, streng geheim.
Was benötigen Sie, Herr Offizier? Sehen Sie sich die Lagerbestände an. Kommandant, dies könnten Ihre neuen Besatzungsmitglieder sein. Möchten Sie Ihre Akten einsehen? Diese Rekruten könnten sich als wertvolle Unterstützung für Ihre Besatzung erweisen.
And I hope I wasn't just talking for a long time this entire game without talking. That would be really upsetting. I believe I may have forgotten to turn off my microphone. Or turn it on, turn off the mute. So I apologize if you've endured that the entire time.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
In first person mode there is no time compression. Yeah, it's pretty right on target when I said it was about noon. Pretty good weather. Although I am getting a complaint that there's no here on. But we'll address that once we're clear and free to navigate. apologize to those who had to deal with me talking when my microphone was muted. It's only the second time I've ever done a live stream, and, well, I basically got hung up and forgot. Looks like some warehouses over here. Some housekeeping stuff here, just a moment. I wish it wouldn't do that every time I enter the chat. Some speed
Langsame
here.
Fahrt voraus.
Das Meer scheint heute ruhig zu sein. Hoffen wir, dass es so bleibt.
I think that's a interesting note. The ocean seems calm today, but we're in the lock still. Haven't left the port, so it's a little early to say that. This is kind of more of a controlled area, but it does, on a smaller scale, reflect the conditions. Because if it's really bad out in the open sea, it's a little bit reduced in the lock here because of buildings and whatnot that affect the wind flow, and there's not a lot of waves because there's not a large space in here, but it does affect the area in here too. about to enter the control lock. One aspect of immersion for me is I wish that the ship would continue moving unless you told it to turn off the engines already. And actually, how much this weighs at 7 knots, we would probably have to be hitting reverse already to prevent hitting the other gate. But the computer, for ease of helping people who don't understand how to control that and understand the drift of the ship in these close spaces, it will shut the engines down on its own. To allow us to change the depth here. As it looks like they are pumping out water. So the tide must be out. And we'll proceed, and we'll get a notification here in a moment up on the upper right hand corner to essentially to hit the button and leave port, and it'll take us out beyond the land masses, out into the open water. I usually time compress that, but since I still have some work to do in terms of setting up my crew expectations and roles at this point, I'm going to just let it play. Allow those who have not seen this to appreciate it. But to make it a little more brief, I will pick up the pace a little bit here.
Halbe Fahrt voraus. Tasks. Engineer, Boltzmann. All right, so mechanic. Play with their default rules until there's a need to change it. You can go in here and enter the I can enter a 9 here for the mechanic to cover the diesel engines when it's profitable to do so, when there's no torpedoes to load in this case, or when
the other officer, and when the other officer is off duty, if I schedule them off out of sync with each other. One thing I do like to do is get into here and tell the crew to, I guess maybe we can leave it alone. Oh, no, I've messed with it. It's got a star there. Nothing I can do about that now. I don't like the crew using the periscope. Sometimes it has actually proven to be bad. They have at times gone in and used the periscope and given away my position because the scope that they use has a larger aperture up top and is more easily seen. Squads. Okay. Specializations come later as you progress. Boat dive schedule I'm not worried about right now. See if he has to take over. It's a good idea to have him there. Leave myself open. Doesn't really matter. I don't put myself in there. I take care of that on my own first person. And then I need a watch officer here. I believe he's set to watch. Actually, no, he's not. So, okay. Fair enough. Alright, we have our crew set up. See if it is reflecting now. One officer here, sailor, two sailors there. at sea. Start patrol should be 9-1. Wonder if the mod has an issue there. To look into that. Uh-oh. Alright, let's go first. Let's go with that. Alright, that might be a challenge later to mess with that, but move on from it. Try and set up my automatic lighting modes.